Hello people of the internet, welcome to Paint to Life, episode 58, the YouTube channel where we take tiny plastic miniatures, throw some acrylic paint on them, and breathe life into them with storytelling so you might learn something new on the subject or just take the story to make it your own. I'd like to get some more traction on Paint to Life, so if you just found us, like this video, please like and subscribe, click the bell for notifications, it really helps us grow. I have a fun new contest idea too that I'm going to be introducing at the end of the video, so stick around to the end to figure out how you can enter and how you can win. I'm GM Atank, let's get painting. Okay, so last episode we learned the history of the Spanish conquistador Alvaro de Carillo and his exploits of the Incan civilization. If you missed that episode and want to watch it, you can check the link at the end of the video or in the description down below. In today's episode, I'll be painting and talking all about 800-pound bugs. I mean it. Here's a picture of one. Pretty, isn't it? Do you see it? Take another look at what lies beneath. The answer is a 10-foot-long burrowing insect with a gullet of digestive acid that it can spit and giant mandibles that can snap you in half. Of course, I'm talking about the Ankheg. Now these are ambush predators with the intention of eating whatever they manage to grab and drag along with them as they burrow back to their subterranean tunnels. Now they don't care about your feelings, your cries for mercy, your fancy coins or baubles. If you're walking along in their territory and they're hungry, well, you gonna get ate. Now they are insects, which means they have an intelligence of only one, so their brain is only there to react on pure instinct, making combat with them very predictable. They'll attack from under the surface, grab what they can, and return back underground through the same hole they burrowed out of, as it's easier to redig the soil a second time. This way they catch their prey and get away unharmed, leaving only a little patch of blood and gore behind, as well as some disturbed soil, which is a telltale sign that they've been there. Now that burrowing can actually be beneficial to farmers as it renews the farmland. The life cycle of an Ankheg goes from a dark brown egg about the size of a baseball to a nymph, which continually sheds its exoskeleton and eventually becoming a full-fledged bug. Eventually becoming a full-fledged Ankheg. Now that very exoskeleton, if harvested, can be used to craft very effective natural armor, which is nearly as effective as full plate mail, albeit at half the weight. Their four flat, compound eyes can see about 60 feet in the dark, but their main sensory organ are these bristles that are on their body that can sense vibrations in the soil all around them. So, let me share a tale with you about an Ankheg. In the small farming community of Brookton, two halflings sit at the bar of the Drunken Dog, one of the only places of interest for miles around. There are about 30 other humanoids reveling and enjoying each other's company in the establishment with them. A lone bard spouts poetry from beside the fire. A table of hunters complain that wild animals have been scarce all year. And the only dwarf in town, Rathburn, he's already passed out on the floor, occasionally ripping large farts so loud they interrupt the whole tavern and rouse the crowd.
Maybe it has something to do with Brick Sutton, that mysterious adventurer who retired to our town after purchasing that farmland with platinum bars.
One of the halflings named Filbert exclaims. Already drunk, his nose and cheeks flushed red, Filbert has been going on a jealous rant for a while now about Brick, to his halfling friend Tuck and anyone else who would listen to him.
Never comes to town meetings, you never see him in the tavern. Big keep out signs posted and a massive stone fence around his property. You wouldn't think him doing much farming at all, except twice a year he summons carts to him and they leave with the finest produce. Maybe his wife's a druid. Well, I mean to find out. We're hitching a ride on the wagon tomorrow to see for ourselves, Tuck. Oh, that's a bad idea, Filbert. Yeah, we'll see, you old gaffer.
The very next morning, the hungover pair of halflings snuck to the staging area where the carts were preparing to depart to their destinations, Sutton Farms.
Yondalla's mercy, what's that giant thing on your back, Tuck? It's my lucky shield. It's a stealth mission, Tuck. You're not going to be needing that shield, you get?
Their small, nimble bodies and general halfling irrelevance made them almost completely invisible to the passers-by, and they were able to easily hide in the back of one of the empty carts. Miles up the dirt road, they arrived at a stone gate barring their passage. A magic mouth appeared on the gate, sporting a very foreign-looking mustache and goatee, and conversed with the cart driver in a language neither halfling understood. Abruptly, magically, the stone gate opened, and their voyage continued. Filbert's questions about this farm began to find answers. There, in the rolling fields, were ghostly apparitions operating farm equipment, gathering large vegetables from the fertile-looking fields. Now, to a mere commoner, this might have been frightening to witness, but Filbert had learned some things about the arcane arts and recognized them as magic spells, unseen servants doing their master's bidding. The cart came to a rest near some field buildings, and the halflings Filbert and Tuck jumped out and began to explore. They discovered a tool shed with metal buckets and tables that reeked of rotten fruit.
Oh, what do you fathom that stink as? Oh, maybe they make an ale here during the off-season?
They found a herd of cattle that were kept in a livestock barn, but on the second floor.
All these cattle and no meat for sale?
Near the main barn, there was a rusty plow leaning against the wall, weathered and sunk into the ground somewhat, clearly untouched for years.
How they till the soil? I not seen any oxen in the barn, and look at this plow. No one is using that thing, bruv.
Finally, the actual farmhouse was in complete disrepair. Broken windows, a hole in the roof, busted-in door. No, the only sign of residence was a small, humble cottage built just above the stone hills overlooking the farm valley. Frustrated and with more questions than they had when they arrived, Filbert and Tuck stayed in the foliage until they caught a glimpse of the extremely fit specimen Brick Sutton, in the flesh, right as darkness was falling. The 40-something man walked casually, whistling as he went, to the two-story barn and went inside. After about 5 minutes, Brick emerged, leading 2 cows down the ramp from the second story and released both of the cows into the fields and headed back to the cottage from whence he came. The halflings gave each other puzzled looks. The cows meandered down a path to the pasture to feed, while the 2 halflings followed and watched with curiosity as to the purpose of this strange late evening stroll. All of a sudden, 3 massive insectoid creatures burst from the ground, 6 feet tall and almost 10 feet long, towering over the small halflings. A flurry of clacking legs scampered along the ground, grappling with the bovine, while massive mandals began to shear the cows to shreds. Filbert and Tuck could not hold back their terror as they turned on their heels and sprinted away, drawing the attention of the third creature which pursued. The visceral sounds of the insects devouring the cows began to fade as their swift feet flew, occasionally tripping up in the low light on the uneven farm ground full of disturbed soil. All the while, the Ankheg closing fast behind, its chitinous limbs clattering against its thorax, closing the distance between it and its fast prey. A guttural sound of spittle could be heard as the Ankheg expelled a squirt of digestive acid towards its quarry. Luckily, the acid struck Tuck's shield slung on his back and began to sizzle right through it, but not before the young halfling could cast the sizzling metal disc aside in time. They ran as fast as their little legs could carry them, and only stopped when they slammed into the legs of Brick Sutton, standing like Adonis, with his massive greatsword in hand. His partner Silvio gently descended from the sky, his cloak fluttering in the wind with 3 lightning orbs circling him, still chewing a bite of food from his interrupted dinner. Instinctually, the Ankheg lunged at Brick, who parried its giant mandibles and counterattacked with 2 slashes of his giant sword. 3 legs now missing, the giant insect spun in circles on the ground, trying to right itself. With a casual finger, Silvio directed 2 of his lightning orbs, which followed the jester, slamming into the insect, causing it to convulse and then stop, the sentience of its black eyes fading away.
Silvio, my dear, please show our guest the way back home while I look to see if she's carrying.
The muscular man slashed open the thorax of the dead Ankheg, splattering the shocked and winded halflings with squirts of purple blood and entrails. Far in the distance, they could see dark silhouettes of the other 2 creatures disappearing by burrowing away beneath the ground, turning over the soil in the process.
Aha!
Brick exclaimed as he removed 2 eggs from the thorax. The repugnant stench of rotten fruit was suddenly extreme. Before the halflings could say anything, Silvio's hands moved, there was a bright flash, and then nothing. Filbert and Tuck, both covered in dripping purple blood and entrails, together, holding a large keep out sign, precipitously appeared in the center of the Drunken Dog Tavern, surrounded by mesmerized patrons. No one said a word, until a loud fart from the passed-out dwarf Rathburn, tonight resting beside the hearth, broke the silence, and laughter and chatter again filled the tavern. Filbert would have much to say tonight about the mysterious Sutton Farm and that which lies beneath. All right, so what did you think of my story of Filbert, Tuck, and the Ankheg which lies beneath? Let me know in the comments below. Here he is for the shelf. All right, it's time for another contest, folks, and here it is from the Dark Souls board game Calamite expansion. It's a dragon, not like the Dungeons and Dragons dragons. So there's going to be many ways to enter. Tonight's is going to be here. Comment below what your favorite Paint to Life episode is and let me know that you're interested in entering the contest. There are going to be other ways to enter as well coming up in the following weeks. Once I pick the winner, they're going to send me an idea for a name, a theme, 2 colors, and a biome for this dragon. I'll paint it up, make a Paint to Life episode, and then I'll send it to the winner. So I can have that miniature little piece of Paint to Life art for what it's worth. So next episode, I'll be designing, creating, and painting a dice rolling tower for a Dungeon Master, so that'll be something new for the channel. Head on down to your friendly local gaming store, pick up some miniature paints, and give miniature painting a try. It could be your next favorite hobby, and you don't even know it yet. Make sure you tell them GM Atank sent you, and take a look at the confused look on their face when they ask you who the hell that is. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys tonight. We'll see you again next time. Wash your hands, people. By special request, a very happy birthday to a Paint to Life fan, Lucas, who's turning 13. Happy birthday, Lucas.